fact, pigs are like my top favorite animal ever. Since I was a little kid, I had a little glass pig collection. I absolutely love pigs, so when we were able to get pigs, like, this was my dream. And he is literally all wet and now muddy because he went swimming. So, he's a really, really good pig. Probably one of our nicest animals around here that's not a dog. Welcome to my channel and welcome back if you are new. So, if you aren't new, you'll know that videos like these are usually when I feel like I'm in my therapy chair because I'm in my barn and I feel like this is the easiest place for me to give news that I don't really want to give. And I feel like I've been in this position, and I'll say my therapy chair in the barn, far too many times than I want to be, because I avoid these conversations and then I feel like they just hit me smack dab in the face and I have to have these conversations. But as you guys can see again with the title that gives it away every single time, Stewie, my first ever outside pig, had passed away. And he's actually passed away a good month or two ago, and I just, you know, haven't been able to share it with you guys yet. The difference though with this story, and it's not really a full story, but with this situation, it wasn't as abrupt, it wasn't something that I didn't expect, and it's not as harsh, I should say, with the other recent losses that we've had. Like last November when we had the very, very sudden, abrupt losses of two of my pigs that I totally did not expect and hit me really hard. My first ever loss aside from a chicken, you know, on its own, ever to happen here on the farm. And then, as you guys know, my goat Willie, which was really hard, and we fought hard for him, and just unfortunately he didn't make it. So, Stewie, though, actually passed away before Willie. I just hadn't had the chance to tell you guys, and I was updating you guys a lot more. Triggers. See, this is why I say it's my therapy, because they're so comforting and I just feel really comfortable here. But anyways, so I just didn't have a chance to tell you guys, and I was actually updating a lot of you on my Instagram story, and I wanted to let you guys know what happened. And I just, once he actually passed, I didn't want to talk about it anymore, so wanted to just get that video out. Now with Stewie's, his story is sad because I miss him and I didn't want him to pass away, but it was expected, and I feel like we had a lot more time with him than we thought we were originally going to have. So we got Stewie a long time ago, actually, at our old property, and he was such a great pig, always has been, was a great pig, very super easy keeper pig, and he's lived here with us for the last 5 years as well. But last May, he started to get sick. We had a vet out, no worms, no nothing actually, like he checked out perfectly fine on paper. And it was a mystery why we couldn't figure out why he was starting to lose weight. So we took him out of his pen, and what you guys didn't know is that a lot of the videos, if you go back into my content over literally the past year, I know there might not be much, but if you saw the pigs, most of the time Stewie was out in the pasture. And sometimes the other pigs were with him, but if they weren't, Stewie would just be out in the pasture with him and Penelope. And also, if you heard my couple actually frequent videos, I said a couple things that you guys maybe wouldn't have understood, but now you might. So when we built that pig pen, I mentioned that Stewie stays out into the pasture with Penelope sometimes, and that would be a good place for him as well. And then there was another video that I posted where I gave the pigs some eggs, and I said I was going to play favoritism, and I was going to give some to Penelope because she was right there, and I also said I was going to give some to Stewie, and at that time he was actually in the pig pen. And I didn't tell you guys why I was giving favoritism, but I was giving them to Stewie and ended up giving them both to Stewie instead of Penelope. But he was in there with the pigs because I knew he liked the pigs, so I would bring him back and forth. So he had that relationship with the pigs inside of the pen, and I'd bring him out of the pasture because I wanted him to have more room. I wanted him to have more grazing area because we were trying what we could to put more weight on him, as we knew that he was sick at that time. And he was still eating, but he was losing weight. He wasn't gaining weight. So then I actually even put him on corn, which is like a telltale sign you can fatten up any pig with corn. So I put him on corn. He was really thin still. And we could just tell that, you know, he was getting sick. My vet actually came out another one of the times, and kind of talked about the pig, and she was like, oh wow, he's, you know, still around. And I was like, yeah, he's still around. He still is living. And it was almost a year after we even had the original, you know, vet come out. So we actually had a lot more time than what we initially thought that we were gonna have with him. He was an older pig and he wasn't neutered, so we kind of drew the conclusion that he had some type of cancer, because there wasn't any reason like that he was dropping weight. We kept checking for worms, he didn't have worms, and we just couldn't find any other like telltale sign of him being sick. But other than his weight was dropping, and he's an older pig, so we kind of expected it to happen. Like I said, we expected it to happen probably sooner than it did, but we were just happy to be able to give him a lot of love and favoritism and treats and things like that, knowing that he was another pig. It was likely going to happen. So it did. It did a couple months ago, and I just haven't had time to share with you guys yet. But like I said, it wasn't a traumatic event. The only traumaticness about it was that I don't have Stewie anymore, and I'm sad about it, and I miss my pig. He was my first outside pig, and he was just awesome, and he really made me want to get a ton more outside pigs because he was just so awesome. And even when I got him, I was looking at other outside pigs to get, and something in my heart was like, I'm not ready for outside pigs. And then boop, literally not even a week later, outside pig came into my life, and we had him. So I think Stewie was the best pig ever, the nicest non-neutered pig ever that got along with every animal and every pig that we brought in after him, because like I said, he was an outside pig, and we brought in so many pigs to his life after him, and he was so kind to every single one of them, never a bully. Mr. Pig was his first friend, and Mr. Pig was a tough nut to crack, and he was so nice to Mr. Pig, welcomed him in, and all the other pigs here. He was like our pig ambassador. He was so sweet, and I loved him. I loved having him as a pig. So Stewie's not here with us anymore, and I just want to show you guys some over the past years, all the love and fun Stewie's given us, and he's not here anymore. So like I said in my Willie video, and I mentioned it then, I said we have had such a tough year with abruptness that has just been so unheard of. And you know, I'm lucky, I will say, that over the 9 years of me having livestock, I've not had to deal with this, and it's kind of crazy. I know lots of people that have had to deal with this their first year, their second year, and all throughout, and I am so lucky that it's taken to my 9th year. I never wanted it to be any years, but my 9th year that this has been what I've been faced with, and maybe this was when I was ready to face all of these different emotions of losing different animals and being able to understand it better. But you will no longer see Stewie in my videos. You might see him maybe once or twice, depending on when this video comes out, just with the footage that I have, but unfortunately you won't see him anymore. So if you do want to see him, I suggest you go back and look at my old content. He's in a ton of my videos, and I just love him and I miss him. And that's all I have to say for this video, and thanks for joining me for another therapy session in my barn. And I do not want to see you guys here again, and that's not personal to you, it's personal to me, because I don't want to be in this position anymore. I am so exhausted of not just this is, you know, this is something that just comes with having some of your life on the internet, but for my own sake, like, I am an animal lover. Like, I have livestock, but I am an animal lover at heart. Like, I don't want to deal with this type of stuff, but with life, you know, there's death, and I just don't like it, and no one does in the animal world, and we want to do our best. We don't want to have these things happen. I want to be a voice for animals, and that's exactly why I did what I could for Willie. That's why I will always stand up for my animals and other animals that come my way. I don't want to deal with this type of stuff. This is anti what I want to deal with, but it does come with it, and I'm blessed to have all these animals. I'm blessed to be put in a position where I have life all around me that unfortunately death comes about. But I know since when I did not want to share the abrupt death of my other pigs with you guys were very open about it and understanding of that I should share these things, because I shouldn't hide these things, because if I only show you guys the good of livestock, you might think that's all butterflies and fairies, and it's not. If you have animals like this, you better be ready to face the hard parts of it. So again, that goes with getting animals, advocating for them, that if you can't handle both sides of it, it might not be for you. That is the end of my rant, and I will see you guys in another video.